Hey everyone, welcome. If you've ever dipped your toes into real-time data, you know that figuring out how to group it, how you window it, is one of the most important decisions you can make. Today, we're going to tackle a classic data streaming problem that pretty much every developer runs into.
All right, so let's get right into it. Picture this. You've got a drone manufacturer, and they need to keep an eye on the temperature data from their whole fleet, and they need to do it in real time. The key requirement here is to analyze the data from the past hour, continuously. If anything looks weird, an alert has to go off. The big question is, what's the right tool for the job?
Okay, so here are our options on the table. We've got fixed, session, concurrent, and sliding windows. Now, 3 of these are totally standard in Apache Beam, but one of them, well, let's just say it's a bit of a curveball. Our job is to figure out which one is the perfect fit for our drone problem.
Sometimes the best way to find the right answer is to figure out why all the other answers are wrong. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the process of elimination to narrow it down and find our perfect solution.
Okay, first up on the chopping block, fixed windows. You might also hear them called tumbling windows. They're straightforward, they're clean, but are they what we need for continuous monitoring? Let's take a closer look. So check this out. Fixed windows work by literally just chopping up time into these separate, neat little boxes. Think 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., then a totally new box for 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. The analysis only happens at the very end of each box. But our drone needs to know what's happening in the last hour at any given second. With fixed windows, a spike at 10:59 a.m. gets analyzed with old data, and you could totally miss a critical alert that happens right at that edge, and that's a huge problem. So yeah, fixed windows, they're out.
All right, fixed windows are off the list. So what about the next one? Session windows. Any chance they could work for us?
And this is where it gets really interesting, because it shows just how important it is to understand your data's pattern. Session windows are built for data that comes in bursts, a flurry of activity, and then nothing. Like you browsing a website and then closing the tab. But our drone's temperature sensor, it's sending data constantly. It never stops. There are no sessions. Using this tool here would be like trying to hammer in a screw. It's just the wrong tool for this kind of data.
Okay, so that's 2 down. That just leaves us with sliding windows and this other thing, concurrent windows. But yeah, there's something you really need to know about this one.
And there it is, the big reveal. The thing is, concurrent windows aren't even a real thing in Apache Beam or Cloud Dataflow. It's a classic trick question they love to throw on certification exams just to see if you're paying attention. So we can definitely cross this one off the list with confidence.
Okay, so we've knocked out the wrong answers, we've spotted the fake one, and that means we've landed on our solution. Let's dive into why the sliding window is exactly what we need.
So let's talk about the hero of our story, the sliding window, which you'll sometimes hear called a hopping window. The 2 words to remember here are continuous and overlapping. Instead of those separate boxes we talked about, think of this like a viewfinder that's constantly moving along the timeline, always looking at the most recent stuff.
And this right here is exactly how it cracks the case for our drone problem. First, we set the window size to 1 hour. Then, as every new piece of data comes in, that 1-hour window just slides forward. This means our calculations, the mean, the standard deviation, are being updated constantly with every new reading. And that, my friends, is the magic right there. Every single new temperature reading gets compared against the analysis of the actual last hour. It gives us that perfect, real-time, continuous monitoring we were looking for. It's a perfect fit.
So look, we solved the problem, and that's awesome. But I want to give you something you can take with you, a super simple trick that's going to make this stick in your head forever, especially if you ever find yourself staring at an exam question.
Here it is. This is the golden rule. Whenever you see a question, a requirement, anything that says, analyze the last X minutes, or the past hour continuously, your brain should just scream sliding window. It is the function for that kind of rolling up to the second analysis.
So there you have it. You now know exactly how to monitor a whole fleet of drones in real time. But this same idea applies everywhere, from spotting credit card fraud by analyzing the last few minutes of transactions, to monitoring a patient's heartbeat in a hospital, to even tracking what's trending on social media, like right now. So I'll leave you with this. What other huge, critical, real-time problems out there are just waiting for you to solve them with a sliding window?